We're talking pecans now with Becky Carroll, our fruit and pecan specialist for Extension. And Becky, 2022 season for pecans, pretty disappointing in Oklahoma.
Right. It was a year we'll probably just let pass and hope for a better year in 2023.
What were some of the challenges, and give us kind of an overview of how things went throughout the growing time?
It was just a rough year. We started out with too few chilling hours last winter, and then we ended up having a drought, and everyone experienced that with growing any kind of crops. But the drought really affected the pecan size, and a lot of trees just dropped the pecans that they had. And then those that survived the drought, we ended up with a really early fall freeze, and a lot of our growers had the shucks stuck on the pecans. And so what started out to look like a pretty good season turned out to be a really bad season.
And so for the growers who were able to harvest some pecans, the market was also disappointing. Talk about that.
A lot of people, well, our native growers, a lot of them just didn't get their harvesters out because of the lack of the crop. But then a lot of our other people who did have a crop, once they harvested them, they just didn't have much of a market to sell those crops. And many of them decided to put them in cold storage because the prices that they could receive were pretty low. So they're hoping that those prices will increase this spring and be able to sell those a little bit easier.
Well, as we talk about a lot, Oklahoma producers in all areas of crop production are resilient, of course.
That's
so let's
true.
just go ahead and put that behind us
Right.
and look forward to the next season.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what can producers do, what can growers do to manage their trees?
Right. This time of the year, they need to be kind of taking a look at their groves and their orchards. And probably the most limiting factor on pecan production in the state is overcrowding of the orchard or the grove. And so this is a perfect time for them to get out and do some tree thinning. And so that sounds pretty drastic, but pecan trees really need a lot of sunlight. And so we start out with a known amount that we want on an acreage, just like cattle. You can't over graze an area and expect your cattle to do well. So we want to have the right amount of trees on our acres. And so they can do that by looking at the canopies. So we don't want canopies touching. And this is better to kind of assess your thinning during the summer when they have leaves and shoots and everything. But we don't want any canopies touching. We want about 10 to 15 feet between those canopies. And then in the summer, when the sun is straight up noon time, we want to look at the orchard floor. And we want to have about 50% of that orchard floor, grove floor, to have sunlight. And that helps the trees, but it also helps our forage for those native growers that may be grazing cattle under their orchards. If you have too many trees, that it's just like they're all trying to get that same moisture. So less trees with a drought is better.
So let's hope it ends, but
Yes.
just in case it doesn't,
Right.
some of these management practices
Yeah.
can help set people up for success.
Right.
Speaking of that, you and the team are putting together a workshop this February. Talk about that.
Right, we have a Pecan Pest Management workshop, and we're working with Gordon Cooper Technology Center in Shawnee, and they've been really great to work with and providing a space and really helpful in doing this class, this workshop. But it's a free workshop for anyone that's interested in learning about pecan management. We'll talk about pest management mainly, looking at ways to help prevent insect and disease problems, and we'll even touch on weeds as well.
The cost is free, you mentioned. What's the best way to register or sign up for the workshop?
They can go online to the Pecan Management webpage, and there's a link there to register.
Okay, great information, Becky. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And for a link to the workshop registration, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.